Hello everyone. Today we are going to have a lessons in import quota. So let's take a look at the definitions of an import quota is a type of restriction that sets a limit on the number of a good that can be imported into a country in a given period of time. For example, Malaysia imposes an import quota on rice and India imposes an import quota on watches. Okay, let's take a look at the effects of an import quota on welfare. But before that, you have to sketch the market demand and supply curve for good X in country A. Okay, so in this case, we use country A and then we also use good X. Okay, so we place a price on the y-axis and then we place a quantity on the x-axis. Okay, so this is our supply curve and this is our demand curve. Okay, so the supply curve and the demand curve intersect at the equilibrium price, where the equilibrium price is equal to 4 ringgit and the market equilibrium quantity is equal to 300. Okay, so this is before we import. So it means that local producers produce 300 units of good X and then they will sell each unit of good X for 4 ringgit, and then consumers will buy 300 units of good X and then each unit of good X will be bought for 4 ringgit. Okay, so this is before we import. Now when we import good X from another country, so your supply curve will shift to S plus W. Okay, and then suppose that this is a small nation and the world price is equal to 1 ringgit. So if the world price is equal to 1 ringgit, so it means that we are going to sell 1 unit of good X in country A for 1 ringgit only, because the world price is equal to 1. Okay, so when the price dropped from 4 ringgit to 1, the quantity demanded is not 300 anymore. So the quantity demanded will increase from 300 to 650. Okay, and then the quantity supplied will drop from 300 to 50. Because of what? Because the price drops from 4 ringgit to 1 ringgit. Okay, so in this case, you can see that when the price drops from 4 ringgit to 1 ringgit, it will benefit consumers. Because of what? Because you can see that consumers will buy more units of good X when the price drops. So it will consume 650 units of good X. Okay, so and then it will not benefit producers, because producers the producers produce only 50 units of good X when the price drops. Okay, so in this case, you can see that the unemployment rate is going to increase. Because of what? Because before we import, we produce 300 units of good X. Now we produce only 50. So it means that the production drops our production drops. So when our production drops, so the number of workers will be reduced, because we do not produce 300 units of good X, we produce only 50 units of good X. Okay, so the unemployment rate will increase. So to protect these local producers, to make sure that they are going to be protected from foreign competitions, okay, so what we have to do, what the government has to do is actually the governments need to impose an import quota. Suppose that the government imposes an import quota of 200 units of good X. It means that 200 units of good X only can be brought into our country. Okay, so before the government imposes the import quota, the number of imports is equal to 600. 650 minus 50, so it means that we import 600 units of good X from another country. So when we imposes an import quota of 200, it means that the country is not going to import 600 anymore units of good X, but the country is going to import 200 units of good X. Okay, so what happened to our S plus W? So our supply curve will shift from S plus W to S plus Q after the government imposes the import quota of 200 units of good X. Okay, so the number of imports, when the government imposes the import quota, so S plus W, it will shift to S plus Q. So the price will increase from 1, it will increase to 2 ringgit. Okay, so when the units of when 1 units of good X is sold for 2 ringgit only, it means that, okay, the quantity demanded will drop from 650 to 450. This is because of what? Because the price increases from 1 ringgit to 2 ringgit. Okay, so the quantity demanded will drop from 650 to 450. Okay, and then quantity supplied will increase from 50 to 250. This is because of what? Because the price increases. Okay, so local producers are going to increase their production. Okay, so when they increase their production, so it means that they need to have more workers to produce 250 units of good X. Okay, so it means that the unemployment rate is going to decrease. Okay, the unemployment rate is going to decrease when local producers increase their production. Okay, so the number of imports after we impose an import quota, so it's actually 450 minus 250, so the number of imports is equal to 200. Okay, so now we move to the redistributive effect. Which area shows the redistributive effect? The area that shows the redistributive effect is the blue area. Okay, so how to calculate the blue area? Is actually the redistributive effects 1/2 times 250 plus 50 times 1. Okay, so you will get 150. So 150 is actually the blue area. Okay, the size of the blue area is 150. These represent redistributive effects. Okay, and then next is actually we have to calculate our consumption effects. But before that, we have to identify which area shows your consumption effects. The consumption effect is actually the green area. Okay, the green area is actually our consumption effects. How to calculate the consumption effects? 1/2 times 650 minus 450 times 1, so you will get your consumption effect, which is equal to 100. Okay, so 100 is actually the green area. And then next you have to find your protective effect. Where is your protective effect? The red area is actually our protective effects. Okay, so how to calculate the protective effects? The protective effects 1/2 times 250 minus 50 times 1, so you will get 100. So this area 100 is actually the protective effects area. Okay, so and then next you have to calculate the revenue effects. Okay, so the revenue effect is actually this yellow area. Okay, the yellow area represents our revenue effects. How to calculate the revenue effects? 450 minus 250 times 1, then you will get 200. So 200 is actually our revenue effect, which is represented by the yellow area. Okay, and next you have to calculate deadweight loss. How to calculate deadweight loss? Deadweight loss is equal to consumption effects plus protective effect. Consumption effects is equal to 100 and protective effect is equal to 100, so 100 plus 100, so you will get 200. Now we are going to determine who will earn the revenue effect. Okay, so this is the area of the revenue effect. Okay, so to determine who will earn the revenue effect, we have two situations. Okay, first situations, there are many importers and one exporter. Okay, so when there are many importers and one exporter, it means that we have one seller and there are many buyers. Okay, so many the importers will buy at a high price of RM2 ringgit. Okay, so it means that the world price is equal to 1 ringgit, but the importers will buy at 2 ringgit. So it means that the revenue effects will go to the exporting country. So the exporting country will earn the revenue effect. And then another situation is where there are many exporters and one importer. Okay, so it means that there are many sellers and we have one buyer only. So of course, the sellers, the exporters will sell at a low price of RM1 ringgit. Okay, because we have one buyer only, so they are going to sell at a very competitive price, which is equal to 1 ringgit. So it means that they are going to sell at 1 ringgit, so importers will sell in the country, in their country at 2 ringgit. So it means that the importing country will earn the revenue effects. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.